You know that feeling when you're lying in bed at 3 in the morning, staring at the ceiling, wondering how the hell you ended up here? When every day feels like you're running on a treadmill that's going nowhere, and you can't remember the last time you felt genuinely excited about anything? Yeah, that feeling. The one that makes you question everything you thought you knew about your life. I've been there. We've all been there. And if you're watching this right now, chances are you're there right now. That place where life feels like it's happening to you instead of with you. Where you wake up, go through the motions, and collapse into bed only to repeat it all over again tomorrow. But here's what I learned during my darkest period of feeling completely stuck, and what changed everything for me. This isn't about toxic positivity or pretending everything is fine when it's not. This is about understanding something fundamental about how we get stuck, and more importantly, how we get unstuck. First, let me tell you about Sherry. Sherry worked at the same marketing firm for 8 years. Same cubicle, same commute, same lunch routine. She had convinced herself she was grateful for the stability, but deep down, she felt like she was slowly disappearing. Every morning, she'd look in the mirror and see someone she didn't recognize. The dreams she used to have seemed like they belonged to someone else entirely. Sound familiar? Sherry's story is actually the story of millions of people right now. We live in a world that tells us we should be grateful for what we have, that stability is the goal, that playing it safe is smart. But nobody talks about what happens when safe becomes suffocating. The truth is, feeling stuck isn't a character flaw. It's not laziness or lack of ambition. It's actually your inner wisdom trying to tell you something important. When life feels stuck, it's often because there's a mismatch between who you are now and the life you're living. It's your authentic self knocking on the door, asking to be let out. But here's where most people get it wrong. They think the solution is to blow everything up. Quit the job, end the relationship, move across the country. Sometimes that works, but more often than not, it just creates different problems in a new location. Because the real issue isn't your circumstances. It's how you're showing up in your circumstances. Let me share something that completely shifted my perspective. I was talking to my mentor about feeling trapped in my routine, and she asked me a question that stopped me cold. She said, "When was the last time you surprised yourself?" I sat there for a full minute because I couldn't remember. I had become so predictable to myself that I was boring myself to death. That question led me to realize something profound. We don't get stuck because our external circumstances are wrong. We get stuck because we've stopped growing. We've stopped challenging ourselves. We've stopped being curious about who we might become. Think about it. When you were a kid, every day brought new discoveries. You were constantly learning, trying things, failing, getting back up, becoming someone slightly different than you were yesterday. But somewhere along the way, we decided that growth was something that happened to us in school or in our 20s, and then we were supposed to figure it all out and coast. But growth isn't a phase of life. It's the essence of being alive. And when we stop growing, we start dying, even if we're still breathing. So how do we restart that growth engine? How do we get unstuck without turning our lives upside down? It starts with understanding the difference between surface changes and deep changes. Surface changes are what most people try first. New haircut, new workout routine, rearranging the furniture. These can feel good temporarily, but they don't address the root issue. Deep changes happen at the level of identity and beliefs. They're about shifting how you see yourself and what you believe is possible. Here's a practical way to start. Instead of asking, "What should I do differently?" ask, "Who am I becoming?" This subtle shift changes everything because it focuses on growth rather than just change. It's not about fixing what's wrong. It's about evolving into the next version of yourself. Sherry, the woman I mentioned earlier, tried this approach. Instead of quitting her job immediately, she started asking herself who she was becoming. She realized she had always been creative but had pushed that part of herself aside. She started a small side project, writing marketing copy for local businesses, not to replace her income, but to reconnect with a part of herself she had abandoned. Something magical happened. As she reconnected with her creativity, she showed up differently at her day job. She started suggesting new ideas, taking on projects that excited her, building relationships with colleagues she had previously ignored. Within 6 months, she was promoted to a creative role she didn't even know existed at her company. The external circumstances didn't change dramatically, but Sherry changed. And when we change, our circumstances often shift to match our new energy. This is what I call the inside-out approach to getting unstuck. Instead of trying to change everything around you, you change how you show up in your existing situation. You bring more of your authentic self to whatever you're doing right now. But let's be real for a moment. This isn't always easy. Sometimes we feel stuck because we're genuinely in situations that don't serve us. Toxic relationships, dead-end jobs, environments that drain our energy. The inside-out approach doesn't mean accepting everything as it is. It means getting clear about what needs to change by first getting clear about who you are. Here's another powerful question that helped me. What would I do if I trusted myself completely? Not if I had more money, more time, or more support. If I simply trusted that I could figure it out as I go. Most of us underestimate our ability to adapt and problem solve. We stay stuck because we're waiting for guarantees that don't exist. I want to share something personal. 2 years ago, I felt completely stuck in my career. I was successful by external measures, but I felt empty inside. Instead of immediately jumping ship, I spent 3 months just paying attention to what energized me and what drained me. I kept a simple journal, noting moments when I felt alive and moments when I felt dead inside. What I discovered surprised me. It wasn't the work itself that was draining me. It was how I was approaching the work. I had fallen into a pattern of saying yes to everything, of trying to be who I thought I should be instead of who I actually was. Once I started being more selective, more authentic in how I engaged, everything shifted. The breakthrough came when I realized that feeling stuck is often a sign that we've outgrown our current way of being in the world. It's not a problem to be solved. It's an invitation to evolve. So if you're feeling stuck right now, I want you to consider this possibility. Maybe you're not broken. Maybe you're not behind. Maybe you're not failing at life. Maybe you're just ready for the next level of who you're meant to become. Here's your starting point. For the next week, pay attention to moments when you feel most like yourself. Not when you're performing for others or trying to meet expectations, but when you feel aligned with your authentic nature. These moments are breadcrumbs leading you toward your unstuck life. Also, start saying no to things that drain your energy, even if they seem important. Every yes to something that doesn't align with you is a no to something that could transform your life. Remember, getting unstuck isn't about finding the perfect path forward. It's about trusting yourself enough to take the next right step, even when you can't see the whole staircase. It's about choosing growth over comfort, authenticity over approval, evolution over stagnation. Your stuck feeling isn't permanent. It's information. Listen to it, learn from it, and let it guide you toward the life that's waiting for you on the other side of this moment. You have everything you need inside you right now to begin. The question isn't whether you're capable of change. The question is whether you're willing to surprise yourself. Start there and watch everything else begin to shift. And if you found the information in this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more mind-shifting and life-changing content.